The second component of sort of the preparation for strength training is joint range of movement, which is important because if we're performing a deadlift, we're going to be lifting a weight from the floor. Now, there are other alternatives that can be used, but if we are choosing to lift from the floor, we need adequate range of movement throughout the ankles, knees, and hips. Now, I'm going to mainly focus on the hips because a deadlift should be predominantly a hip extension exercise, which basically means your hips bend and then you extend and stand up straight. So that is the predominant movement for the deadlift. Now, if you don't have adequate range of movement at the hips, you're going to need to get it from somewhere else to be able to get down far enough to lift the weight up. And it's either going to come from the joint above it or the joint below. Obviously, the joint below is the knees, so you'll either bend the knees more than you should, or you'll bend the back more than you should to make up for the lack of range of movement at the hip. Now, if we're lifting a heavy weight and we're in that compromised position, we are essentially just leaving ourselves more open to injury, or at least problems in those areas. We'll be adding to additional aches and pains, which you may already have. If we can build range of movement, number one, we give ourselves the ability to get into the right positions to be able to lift, but we also can have a therapeutic effect on the back, on the hips, and on general aches and pains in the hip and low back area. Now, that's not to say it's 100% guaranteed, but as a general rule, if we can open out the hips, we're more likely to have a healthier spine as a result. So what we have to be able to do is build the range of movement of the hips so we can flex the hips enough, maintain the proper position of the spine, and then lift the weight from the floor. If we then go to the other example of the overhead press, we need adequate range of movement at the shoulders and the upper back because the exact same will apply. If we don't have the adequate range of movement at the shoulders, it will go to the joint below it, which is the shoulder girdle, with the shoulder blades and the upper back. So we need to be able to get basically from the hips, the upper back, the shoulder blades and the shoulders moving adequately enough. And we need to do this at lower loads, because if we just jump in at heavier loads, that heavier load is going to make your body panic. And then you're not going to be able to control the movement, and you're not going to be able to control the compensation that comes as a result. So we need to be able to build, as we're building the core strength, we need to be able to also build joint range of movement. If we can do that, we're going to be in a much better place than if we just jump straight into strength training. So it's very much about, first of all, understanding the parts of the body that we need to build the range of movement, as I've described: the hips, the upper back, the shoulder girdle, which is the shoulder blades. So the shoulder blades need to be able to come around the rib cage as you lift your arms over your head. So we need to get all of that working, and then we just need adequate range of movement at the shoulder joint as well, so that when we push over the head, the bar can go directly above the head without putting any excess pressure on the body, which will then create an injury, or at least an ache or a pain. So part number one, we need to build the core. We need to build all the three parts of the core: the strength, the stability, and the endurance. The second component is we need to build joint range of movement, but joint range of movement mainly of the hip, of the upper back and shoulder girdle, and of the shoulder joint. What we'll do now is talk about muscular endurance. We'll look at what that is, we'll look at how we can integrate it, and we'll look at why we need to be able to build it.